In this video, we're going to create an exciting chart.js, which is also very interactive as we click on all of these items. And what will happen then is you can see the chart is adjusting in color. It adjusts the data, and of course we have this nice circle here that adjusts as well. And so, for example, we click on this item here, it changes into a pinkish purple, and if you click on Windows, it becomes blue. And this here is a very exciting part, because this will start to create a type of legend that is more visual, more exciting in Chart.js version 3. And this is really exciting. And let's start and explore how to make this. Now it's time to start. As you can see here, we have right now a very blank template here. And what we're going to do now is to start working on creating our chart and our legend below the chart, or above the chart in our case. So what we're going to do here is first create a section. And in this section, we're going to work with a div, and this div will be the class of legend from our chart. And probably this could be maybe a UL, but it doesn't matter so much. Right now we just put in this. Then we say here, we can make here a href. Is it an href? That would be fine. And then we're going to put in this. Alright. And so here we're going to put in the 3 items. This could be, for example, Windows, Android, and finally we have the Mac users, Mac or Apple OS. So once we have this, if we refresh here, you can see we have 3 items here. What we want to do eventually, we want to push in the center, and then we're going to put in our chart. So what we will do first is we just create a new section here where we're going to create our chart box. And in this one here, we say another class, so we say chart box. And in here, we'll put in our canvas ID, and of course the JavaScript code that's related to it. So let's do that first. So I will just go here to the browser, and then we open up chartjs.org. And once you open that one, just click on Get Started. And once you click on Get Started, you can see here below we have the information here. We're going to copy all of this. We're going to paste this in our HTML file, and I will just give it some proper indentation. Double tap. Alright. And once we have that, we're going to cut this out and put it in here. We paste it in here. I'm going to remove this width. We're going to use the CSS code to control that. Next, I want to have a line chart. So we have here, instead of type bar, we put in line. And then what we can do in here, just remove everything, because we're going to work with one single line. And once we have this, this is all fine as well. The next thing what we need to do is we have to add up the other item as well, which is the JavaScript library of Chart.js. So we click here on Getting Started, and then click here on Getting Started one more time in the submenu. And you can see here our JavaScript that we need. We can copy this. Once we copy that, paste it in here, make sure it is above the chunk of code related to Chart.js, because it needs to load first this before it shows this. Alright, once we did this, go back in here, then refresh. And you can see right now we have one, and what I want to do is I want to make sure we're going to reduce the size a bit of this chart box, because it's far too big right now. So let's start and work with the CSS. Oh, and then I see here probably this here, it's forgot to have a closing parentheses, but that's alright. This is a default part of the style sheet where we want to clean up everything to make sure that it's on default. Margins, paddings, and box sizing by default. Alright, what we're going to do here is, first of all, we will do the legend. We say here, class legend. And in here, we have to indicate what we want. So basically what we want to do here is we want to put them in the center. So what we're going to do here is we say here display flex. So that means that they become more flexible, and then we can say here the following. So we want these items in here. So what we're going to do here is to add up the item. I'm just let me think, that is style, if I'm not mistaken. No, let me quickly check that one. Yes, alright, so I've got it. It's justified content, put in the center. And then what we will do as well is item align, with align items, also in the center. So this will push it in the center. So once we save this and then refresh here, you can see these are all now in the center, but most likely what we need to do is to give our anchor tag here some padding and some design matters. So what we're going to do is the following. We say here dot legend anchor tag, and here we will put in the CSS code and then say padding 10 pixels. And what we can do here as well, we can say text decoration, we'll say none. And then what we can give here as well as color, we can say here color. And the color we can make the following here probably. We can do here root. And within the root we can give these colors. So I'm going to just say here color, and then I say color 1. And this will have a default color of 001199, or let's say double F. Alright, so we have one color here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to do it for all of them here. So we say color 1, 2, and 3. And this will be, let's give this a different one. We say here delta delta, and this will be Charlie Charlie, and this will be alpha alpha. And let's make this a higher number. Alright, so we have these. So let's refresh here. And you can see here we have these colors here, but they're of course not yet active. We're going to collect these. So I say here the following color variable. There you are. But then I realized we of course need to give this the proper item. So what I'm going to do with this is just put it out here. And then we say here class, or whatever the class is. This would be, it's a Windows. And then we say here color. Oh, there we have it. Alright, so we assume that Windows is this color, and then we can do the same with Android and Apple. So we say here Apple and Android, and then we just give this a class here as well, Windows, and then we have the next one will be class Android, and finally we have the last one, class Apple. Alright, so once we save this, we should have this in a adjusted color. Am I correct? It doesn't respond. So let's see what's going on here. It's assuming the colors, but here the colors are not. Alright, so let's double check here what's going on. Color variable. Alright, we have here a mistake, so let's check what's going on. Oh, of course, sorry. And the reason why this is a mistake is, of course, we don't need to put in the color here. So we say color 1, 2, and 3. And once we did that, save this, refresh, there you are. So that works, although I don't like the green, it's very tough to read. So I will make the green a slightly darker version. So let's put this on 99, that will be probably better. Is it? No. If I try and change it, no, color 2 is still not working. 0, 0, and then maybe this one will be delta delta. Alright, that's slightly more appealing to read. There we are. So once we have this, what we want to do is the following: is the moment we click on this legend, it should be bold, so it's easy to spot that which one is active. So that would mean the moment we not only click on it, but it should be on focus. So we say here focus, and probably hover we could do the same as well. So we say here legend focus or hover. Where we will highlight it, or we make the font size or font weight, and then in here we can say bold. So once we refresh here, and then if you hover over it, you can see this happens, and when we click on it, you can see it's now on focus. And once we click on that, alright, you can see maybe we should have something else, but this is right now when it's focused. And what we want to do eventually, these colors should match here as well. And when we click on that, this should match here. So let's start and explore that. So we're going now here, and in here what we're going to do is, first of all, I want to remove this legend here. We don't need this. So we say here skills, comma, and we put in here the plugins. And in here, we're going to adjust that. We say the plugin, we say legend. Then we say display false. So that's the first item that we did. We refresh this and now that's gone. Alright. What we might want to do as well is to adjust the chart size as well, as I feel that the chart box is far too big. So what we can do here is we can say here dot chart box. Now we say max width 700 pixels. There you are, slightly better. And we can do a padding of 25 pixels. There you are. So we have this. This might be set in the center. That might be an option as well. We could do this probably with this one. Let's put that in there. Let's see if that works. No, it doesn't work. Alright, we just leave it for now. We probably have to, or maybe we need to assign these to here. It doesn't respond properly. Is there a reason? Well, it sets here in the center. However, it does not work on there, but that's alright. Is it important? For now, it's not, so I'll just leave it for now. So what we're going to do now is the next one is, of course, the JavaScript in here. What we want to do is matching these colors here. So once we have this, and once we are hovering on top of this and select one, this should start to match the colors of that. So that's what we're going to do. And for that, we need a JavaScript here. So we say here a new function, and this function will be change chart. And this one will contain the adjusted color and the matching data. So we will have here a color as a parameter and of course the data. So what will happen here is the following. So the moment we click on, for example, Windows, we want to extract the data and the color and adjust this chart. Let's start and do that. So to do this, what we're going to do is here is to understand how we can assign new data. Alright. So to do this, we're going here in the Chart.JS commands. Then we're going to figure out where the data is stored. So we're going to grab that data and then equal to the new data, whatever it is. So for example, the different color or the specific data. So what we're going to do is here, as you can see here, you have my chart. So we can copy this and then go to data and then to data sets. And then from there, we go to the colors. So if we want to adjust both colors, it's the background color and the border color. So let's do that one first. This, then we say data. As we are from my chart, data sets. Put in here 0. And the reason why we put in 0 here is because the data sets is considered a array with the index value of 0. This is the first index or first element, or meaning the index is 0. Alright, once we have that, and then we can get here the background color. dot background color and then equals color. And the same goes here. If you want to have the border color, you can see here we have the border color. You can paste it in here as well. And once we did that, we want the final one, which is of course the data. So basically, how do you get the data? Well, it's from my chart, data, data sets to data, and that's it. So let's get that as well. So we can basically copy almost everything here, paste this in, and then just say here, data equals, we have here as well the same name, data. So that's acceptable. There we are. So once we did that, we can say here, my chart dot update, which is a Chart.JS command for automatically updating the moment we trigger a click or something. Once this function has been triggered, we first update all the values here, and then we will update the chart that's being displayed here. Alright? So once we have this, we can do the following now, is to start to add here a class. So we say here on click, and on click, this will be having the chart, which is this one here, the function name, change chart. So we say here also change chart, and then in here we have the color, comma, and then the data. So this would be the data, and here would be the color. And remember, the color is a string, so that should be a number. We're going to get that. We have our CSS here. And then the data is the data that we have here. So let's do first colors. We can copy this one. And then we paste it in here. Make sure it's in quotations because it's a string. And then the data, the first one will be the same value here, so that's fine. Put it in. Alright. What we need to do now is do exactly the same here, just for the next one. And then for this one as well. So what we're going to do here now is basically adjust the colors and adjust the data. So we say here the next one, we have this greenish color, which is the Android, and finally we have the Apple, and the Apple has a different color. There you are. So now what we need to do in here is put in some values. So let's assume this is about users using Windows, Android, or Apple OS or Mac OS. Doesn't matter what you prefer to call it. So let's say here we have this. It starts with maybe 5, and after gradually it starts to increase 7, then 13, 15, 22, 23. And with Mac we have 12, 19, and then we have 23, 25, 22, and 23. Alright, so that's some estimates. If this is very accurate, no, I don't have any data, so I'm just making up stuff. Alright, so once we have this and we save this and refresh, now we should be able to see an adjustment of the chart. Alright, so we have this, but we have still some items that we need to solve, as you can see here. So let's start and solve this immediately. So what is going on? Why? Because we have these array, or these brackets here, indicating that this is an array, and we want to remove this. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove this here all, put it all in here, then with the comma, and that's it. And then we do the same here as well. Going to put this in here, and then there you are. So once we save this, refresh, we have now a working model, but of course we have some adjustments to do. As you can see here, the windows here is not yet blue. The moment we click on it, then it becomes blue. So what we're going to do here is adjust the color. So we're going to get the color here above. Once we get this color, put it in here and paste it in. So yeah, make sure this. And what I want to do more is I want to expand the border width here a bit. And then what I want to do here as well is I want to decrease the tension, or you could make it a bit more elastic. So you can see right now it's very tight. You can see these are very sharp edges, which is nice but not necessary. For a chart, I like more like a line chart. And if we refresh now, you can see here now we get a slightly nicer one. And I think that this is probably a good thing to do as well. You can see right now, this is not that nice. I would like to have a dot here, which is white. So in the, let's see, where is that? The border, not the border color, but the background color. We're going to assign this to make this white. The triple F. I'll just make them in caps locks. There you are. And once we refresh, you can see here now we have something. But are you satisfied with it? Well, honestly, no, of course, because we have this mini dot here. So let's solve this as well immediately. So we go here, and what we're going to do now is we just go to the chart types, go to line chart, and then we're going to start and work on the design of this. So what we're going to do here is the point radius. So we see here the point border color. Alright, that's fine. The point border color. The point border width. Alright, that's what we're going to fix here first. We say here the border width is fine. That's already set on 5. And now we have the point border width. And that one, if you look, this is a number as well. By default it's 1. And what I want to do is we want to put that number 5. Alright. Now we have that one, and then what we need to as well is the point radius, if I'm not mistaken. The point radius, yes, this is the one we need as well. And the point radius is specifically, instead of for the border, it is specifically for the white dot, which will be also 5 pixels. Alright, so we save this, and let's go back here, refresh, and now you can see this looks nice. When we hover over it, the point starts to maintain, but I don't like this. You can see here the line of the point when on hover reduces to 1 pixel, as you can see here. This is nice, but not what I want. So we go here, we say here the point hover border width, which is jumps to 1. We're going to make this, we will set this on 5. Once we save this, and then we refresh, you can see now, well, we still have something to deal with. You can see here the dot within is also getting smaller. We want to maintain that. So what is that exactly? The point hover radius. So the point that becomes bigger or smaller on hover. So when on hover, we will say this is 5 as well. Alright, save this. Go back here, refresh, and then you can see now, as we hover over, it doesn't do anything, or at least it doesn't change. And then when we click on this, beautifully, this works. However, we have one tiny issue here right now. You can see here, this is still solid. Why is this? Well, if you remember this one here, the background color, if you assign this to triple F, to white, and make sure this is a string, it would be fine. And the moment we click on it, as you can see, now it works. But then if you would say, why would we do this if we already have it already set in here? That is absolutely correct. This is redundant. So we should keep it, we should not remove that line of code. Once we refresh here, now we can see this works. And we click on that, that works. And what I want to do now as well is I want to click on, to put an underline here on the link. So it's on focus, and then when we click on focus, there should be text decoration, underline. Let's save that and then refresh. So the moment we click on this, there you are. As you can see, this works. Did it work correctly? Click on it, yes. And then we are. So this is the way how you can do it. And this is basically on make it a very nice, fancy design. Can we do something else more? Yes, we can even play around with it. There are ways to play around with it, and I'm going to show you one of the things that I'm going to do very soon, so you have this as well. So for example, we want to have here a circle with the icon. Eventually there will be an icon in here. Right now we don't have any icons or specific items. For example, if there would be Windows, we should see a picture of a Windows logo or a Windows computer. And if it's Android, we should see the Android icon or the logo. And if it's Apple OS, we should see a icon of Apple, for example. So what I want to do here, this is a nice thing right now, because right now this is very plain. What we can do here is put in a circle here, and this is one of the very fancy stuff. So let me show you exactly what I'm talking about. What we're going to do here, first of all, is we're going to add up here a circle in the this is the chart box. That will be fine. We say here div class circle. Save this. Alright, so right now there's nothing in here. If you refresh there's absolutely nothing, just plain or blank, doesn't do anything. So now you can say here dot circle. And then in here we're going to say the first thing is we will say your position absolute, and then we say left 0, top 0, putting it up on the top. And then when we say here the following is width 100% and height, oh sorry, that's not what I want, height 100% as well. And then we give this a background, and the background color will be this one here as well. That's the default color. So if we save this right now, you see everything is being overruled. Alright, so that's alright, because now what we're going to do is we're going to use a clip path. And a clip path, you can start to create fun items with it. So we can say here circle, and in here we can start to control the size. So what I'm going to make is a small circle, or a small, let's say a 20% circle. And this circle will be set at the right side, because what we want to do is we want to create a circle here, right? And then we say here 50%. So if we save this and refresh, now you can see here we are 50%, so we're halfway on the website or on the browser where it's being positioned. But now let's do it 100%. We want to push it all down to the bottom. So once we did that, you can see now we have a nice quarter here in the circle. And what is very nice, if we increase this to a 60% size. So it's quite big, well, slightly too big, I'm afraid. Do this. Alright, so that is fine. So what we're going to do here now is the following. When we click on this, we would like that this color, or this circle, adjusts in color as well. So what we're going to do now is create a new function here. And this function will be called change color. And this one will be color as well. And I realize we can basically use this here. So maybe we don't need to give it a function, although it's probably better. What they usually say is use a function just doing one specific item, so it's easy to adjust. So I will show you this way, and after I will show you the easier way, which is built in a single function everything, but this is now specified into the specific function. Alright? So what we're going to do is the following. We can see here we have, where is it? We have our circle. This is the one we want to pinpoint, the circle. So what we're going to do here is we say document dot query selector, meaning search for a specific value with this value, or search for the value within the document that contains this here, exactly this string dot circle, meaning that they're looking for a class, or basically they're looking for a value with this string here, which in this case is our circle or circle class. And then when we say here, we will say style dot background equal the color. So this equals the color, which makes sense. And then where can we get the color? Well, basically we can get it in here. We create a new command here as well. So we say change color. And what is the color? And I'm putting here a semicolon because we have two functions, meaning that first activate this function and after do this function. Basically the color is this here. So once we put in here this, we have it. And now what we're going to do is we're going to just copy this one here and paste this in here below. Put a space here between so it's easy to read for yourself. There you are, that's more organized. Paste the hex code here and put it in there, or copied it from here and place it in here. There we are. So once we do this, we refresh. Now if we select, as you can see, we now get matching colors. This looks absolutely beautiful and very, very stunning. So what can we do now is probably we can do exactly the same one with the upper items. So we can just copy this here. I will paste this in here. Then we say here style equals background color, and then you will see if we just comment this out, save this, and refresh, it should work as well. Of course, it doesn't work right now because probably it gives a conflict. Am I correct here? Let's double check. Yes, I guess that is. Gives a conflict because we have changed color, not defined. Alright, so what I will do is I will just keep this active, but of course we just comment out this command here, so it does nothing at all. So we refresh, and then if we click on this, it works very, very nice. There you are. Works exactly as we wanted, and you can see even in mobile it starts to create a nice item here below. And with this you can now start to create far more fancy design with Chart.JS, and I'm really excited about this because this is one of the things very soon. I'm making videos already on these topics, but I want to gradually go there so you can follow along as well, and then you will learn about how you can make a very strong visual representation with a legend. Because basically what we have here above is right now a very straightforward legend, and it looks, honestly, still doesn't look appealing, but we're getting close to the end result, and then it will look very beautiful, and that will be in some other videos. So if you have any questions so far from everything what we've covered so far, put them in the comment section below and I'll make sure I get back to you. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in Chart.JS, check out in the description box the link directing to my Chart.JS course where you can learn everything about Chart.JS. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.